All right, good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Monday, February 6th. You could tell by the voice of myself here, this is not Fausto Pugliese. This is Josh Levitin getting the hot tag from Fausto this morning. His mic is having a bit of some issues. He's getting a little trouble from his mic this morning, so he's fixing that right now. We didn't want to hold you up too much longer here. So great to see all of us back on our social media streams, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Great to have all of us back inside the trading room. The usual suspects, as always. We have Roger, Grant, Lawrence. We have Jeff, Brad, Ravina. We had Leda before, John, Manuel. Great to see all of us here alike. So with that in mind, let's get things right started here. So, and Wendy as well. Don't want to leave Wendy out there. So the AI stocks have been all pumping up over the last week and a half, right? We've been calling them out pretty much nonstop, day over day. But once again this morning, we ended up seeing AI make a big push. The BBAI stock make a big push. The SOUN make a big push. And even right now, the top percent gainer here this morning, SECO, this is like AI, so to say, affiliated. I got the chat from Rich this morning in relation to SECO. I think it actually has to do with Chat GPT and other AI technologies. So it is some sort of AI affiliation there at this company. Now, that said, it's already up 125%. Ended up making more of its move beginning from 7 o'clock Eastern this morning. Really after that point, going into the 8 o'clock move and onward, it's just been in this tiny range. So, that's where things can get a little murky with it up as much as it already is. So going into the open, I would not look to hold on to this as much. I would look to take profits. Normally we teach our students anyway around 9:10, 9:15 to take the money and run, to get out of your trades, just, give the stock a chance to breathe, but also give yourself a chance to breathe, right? So, prep yourself going into the market open, that is. So the SECO, we'll see if this can make the higher high afterwards. The big pop over resistance off of 4 once the market opens up. We'll definitely start off by putting this back on our list here. And then we had the others here. Like we had the AI stock, a little more expensive now, but moving back above 28. What I'll do is I'll bring Bookmap back up here for this trade and a couple of the others that we had. So here's level 4. You could see on the AI trade, at least, it ended up just breaking back over 28. Some volume got filled on the ask here. Now at this point, going into the open, you'd want to see it, if not pop and run higher, then perhaps at least a holdover support off of that price. Again, same to be said here as I just said on the SECO. You don't want to hold going into the open as often. Allow yourself a chance to relax and prep up and give the stock a chance to kind of shake out going into the open. Again, it is up a lot, not just today, but also from the last week and a half. So the goal is to see this hold a higher low. And with the buying that we had off the 28 level, would love to see it directly off 28, maybe 27.90 right there as well, more of a complementary support. But otherwise, let's see this pop up higher. There's about 16, 17,000 shares on the ask here at 29 bucks. And then up top at 30, not as much showing there yet, but I would assume 30 to be a major level here on this trade, the AI. While I have Bookmap up, may as well jump to the BBAI trade, another AI company, Big Bear AI. Like from the end of last week, ended up making a big move for us back then. This one popped prior to 8 o'clock, but again, it kind of failed to make that big break higher. Ended up holding under 6 as resistance, and then just now shook down towards support there. Bit of an iceberg got tested off of 570. About 10,000 shares. Ooh, a couple of them actually. Stack of different 10,000 share orders ended up getting tested there, crashed through those orders, snap back above it for the meantime. But yeah, I don't mind putting this back on our list. It's up big. We did well on it from last week. It's tradable. It's moving to a great level with AI. And you could say the same here at the SOUN trade here too. So all of these are AI affiliates. It says it in the name, like in the company name, AI. At least for 3 of them here. So the SOUN trade, as well, just failed to make that continued pop up higher off the 370 level and ended up just crashing below support off of 350 in the VWAP. But again, I'll put this on our list going into the open. Perhaps this could eventually build true support, with it trending down going into the open. Maybe it'll take a little bit longer for it to make that build at first. But once we begin to see support solidify, and it could be not directly off of 350, but actually if you're looking from Bookmap, kind of right here from the delta column, 355 or so. If this could snap back above 350, then 355, perhaps this could, make the stronger run. But yeah, going into the open, I'll put all 3 on our list here as the AI trades, the AI stocks. All right, so a little housekeeping note here for all of our Platinum and Diamond C2 students, or at least anyone that has access to the Swing Trading Pro course. At least, for today, we're going to be doing the Swing Trading Pro course continuing at 1 p.m. Eastern time today. At 1 p.m. Eastern time today, the Swing Trading Pro course will continue our conversation on news and a couple swing trades that we've been talking about from the end of last week. Obviously, Fausto has been killing it on the ones that he's been talking about as well, including the AI. But nevertheless, though, we've been doing pretty well on the BuzzFeed trade from the end of last week. You just see it on the chart. I've been calling it out from 210. Not as much like news related. It was more just the historical chart level that we had, just holding so well off that 210 as resistance from the end of last year. Resistance should become support, ended up leading to a nice squeeze up, right? So that's been working out really well for us here so far from the end of last week into this morning. BuzzFeed, another trade, not only as a swing trade, but just as a day trade too. It's a cheap stock, very liquid. It's a meme stock, so to say. BuzzFeed.com, kind of a very well-known, site, at least blogging website, memes, and all these different sorts of viral types of lists. So, I was hoping for this to make a strong little move for that reason as well, but more for the chart level, the entry off the 210. And then as well, just in terms of a swing trade to go over from my end, at least, the AMD trade, and we'll talk more about this in our swing course later on this afternoon. Again, 1 p.m. Eastern time for any of our students that have access. But with that, though, the AMD trade came off of great earnings from last week, ended up having a big pop over 80. The following day, it held support well on Thursday and led to a nice pop up higher. So even though it's down a little bit this morning, unless if the markets really plunge here, out the gate this morning, then we'll look to jump out. But it's still holding pretty well. It's been a great move off the 80 level as well as from 81.50, which was the entry that I had there. And we'll look to see if this could look to make the higher high over time today. But if not, then I have no problem at least getting a few bucks on it, taking some money and running. There's going to be a few different swings that we'll look to go over more aggressively over the next month and a half. I mean, even starting today, just a couple that we'll mention out loud coming up in our class. But, at least for right now, BuzzFeed as a day trade and a swing trade we'll put on our list. AMD, I'm just kind of mention it right now, not really focus it, put it on our main list just yet. It's, just kind of down 1%, not really a day trade type of stock today, at least not yet. All right, so it's already 9:12. We already have 5 stocks on our main watch list. So we're off to a good start, but we're kind of against the wall here in terms of time. So let's just go from top to bottom quickly. Let's see what else we can kind of build up here. The Cal trade not looking really too active. I was pretty reluctant with putting this on the pre-market watch list to begin with. JZXN's a cheapie. Ay, look at this. Sheesh. Ay, caramba. Look at this GDC drop. One of our members inside our live trading room had called it out. And I wrote to you, I said, hey, nice pop. We'll need to see the order book fill in a lot more for us to try to trade it, though. Notice how I said that. Like, nice pop, great call, good heads up. But it was on like a 30-cent spread. And the order book was basically invisible. So that's not a tradable stock for my account, right? For what we teach in class. So I was going to look for a pullback, and I'd said even at the time, I'd look for a pullback to 740. That was when it was at like $9. That's a pretty steep pullback to start. Holy smokes. This is the first time I had my eyes on this trade since I'd even made that call out. I didn't trade this one. I was more on the BuzzFeed, but geez, this thing ended up getting clobbered right below 750. It tried to bounce, but there was no real attempt from there. Ended up just completely pulling right back down towards the little peak where it had broken out from to begin with here. So yeah, right now GDC, I'm not going to be as keen to put this on our list. Same with the OMER. I mean, OMER, we're at least a little bit more familiar with it. Any of our longtime students, we've called this out in the past. And in terms of looking at the daily chart, it actually looks pretty strong, breaking above the highs that we had from January so far this year. Just pretty clean breakout there. So that does look pretty nice. It's up over 30%. Maybe I'll come back to this at the end. I'm kind of selling myself to giving this a second chance here. I'm not putting this on the main list yet. I don't like the trend down, but if it could build support by the time this meeting finishes up, I come back to it. Then we'll consider otherwise. All right, the FFIE not doing a whole lot here. The SOUN, I guess you could say the same, but it's been a lot more active of a trade. We talked about it already. BuzzFeed, the ARQQ, I forgot about this one. quantum stock. Maybe this is AI affiliated as well, but it's only up 16%. I'm not going to check right now, folks. We're kind of thin on time here, but right now it's trying to squeeze back up. It's holding here, right? Hasn't made a great trade since 8 o'clock, really since 7 o'clock. So, it's been more of a bust so far, but the day is young. And if it's still showing strength here, I'll be inclined to put this on our main list still. So the ARQQ, we'll see if this can make the real breakout higher, certainly over 3, for 3 to get flipped into support, and we'll see what happens from that point. All right, so, geez, there's a lot that is actually up a decent amount, like more of a familiar name for us here inside this live trading room. Obviously, the AI trade we had talked about already, BBAI as well. Express, got a cheapie here, MULN, one that we're pretty familiar with though. Remark, I forgot about this one from pre-market early this morning, also from the end of last week on Friday. It's kind of holding here, but I'm not too particular about the trend. Just because it's holding support, that doesn't mean it's making us money right now. So I think that there's just better ones to focus on so far out the gate. I'll come back to this though if it pops, after 9:30. All right, let's see what else we got here though, folks. Let's hop over to the loser side. RSLS, geez. What goes up comes back down, right? I mean, we semi-joke with saying this. It's a true statement, but it's a kind of comedic, blunt way to put it. But big trees fall hard. Big trees fall hard, right? So with saying that, ended up making a huge pump on Friday, or it was already coming back down from Friday afternoon, right, going into the close. But then you don't know where this is going to open up the next morning, let alone the next week on Monday. So we don't swing trade these stocks, right? And 99.9% of us know this at this point, right? Because you're a member inside our live trading room. You're seeing these trades getting called out each and every day. You're taking our classes. You're doing your coaching. You have the screen time. You know what to look for. But we got to say it every day, though, myself and Fausto, each and every morning, each and every day when we have the chance, because there's still that 1%, that 0.1% that will just gamble, that will just hold on just for the hell of it. You don't know what's going to happen to the stock the next day, let alone the same day even. How about this really quick? Not to go too far off course here, but I mean, hey, it's on the loser side anyway, number 7, Gene. And I know Fausto covered this on Friday morning. Trust me, he was all over it. I mean, it pumped up Thursday night. It was setting up to be a good pre-market trade, or at least some sort of trade that we could have, made money on at first. And we actually made money on this afterwards. But, you don't know what's going to happen to the stock, though, right? We don't try to hold on to these trades. It's not as if we're kicking our feet back and just enjoying the ride. You never know what could happen, right? So we actually made money on this trade off the support level that we had called out, Fausto and myself, from 155. But, going back to that RSLS, though, I mean, hey, let me just check the news here really quickly. Again, I don't want to kill too much time. We're getting close to the open. But, yep, this is it. And again, this comes from experience. I didn't say this out loud just a moment ago, but my internal mental guess was that they ended up doing some sort of common stock offering, direct offering of shares, and that's exactly it. So RSLS trading lower after the company priced its $10.2 million offering at $8 per unit, consisting of stock and warrants. So it's already well below 8. Doesn't mean it's going to move back up there per se. So, I'm not as particular to follow this right now. Just more of a lesson to show, though, to that 0.1% perhaps that still may be inclined to hope and hold and gamble. That's not our intent, right? You got to learn before you could earn. So, you do not want to get stuck hoping and holding. You're on the top of the roller coaster. All right, what else we got? You can say the same on a lot of these. HSCS here, geez, I mean, down 13% from yesterday. Tried to pop after 7:30, but not a whole lot to it after. PLCE Children's Place, maybe this could be earnings related, but, and when I say that, it means like maybe this could be a short trade, but not really showing a whole lot, though, otherwise on the pre-market chart. Kind of spotty activity, not really too particular about that as well. I'm also reminding myself right now mentally, like, hey, Josh, it's a Monday, right? Today's a Monday, so you don't want to get too cocky, too crazy out there. We got some big earnings coming up ahead this week. So, there's going to be plenty of volatility ahead, but Don't need to force a big list out there. Even IQ, it's tradable. I'm sure after the open it will be tradable at least, but it's not really showing much direction right now, so I'm going to pass on this. All right, so I'm going to go back to two separate trades, folks, the OMER and the MARK trade. But for Wendy and Paul and Leda or Grant or Jeff or Brad, any of us inside the live trading room, let me know if there's anything else I'm missing. And then for all of us in social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, let me know otherwise. I check Benzinga myself right now. This wacky GDC trade trying to bounce back up. It's more of a gamble stock, though, to me. It's up over 45%. Is it possible for more eyeballs to catch on to this trade and for it to run back up again? Certainly. And, we don't have a huge list just yet. So, it's possible I could slip this on the back end. But I'll tell you, I like the others a lot more. The BuzzFeed, the AI trades. Just checking Benzinga here pretty quickly, seeing if there's anything that looks pretty decent. Hey, this IONQ actually just popped up right now. It's up near 5%, trading pretty good volume. And it's got really good liquidity on the order book, especially for pre-market here. So, you know what? I'd be more inclined to follow a trade like this. This looks a lot better. So, you know what? I'll do just that. I'll put at least the IONQ on our main list. That GDC is more of a gamble stock. I'm sure that we'll call it out if it looks good after 9:30, but there's probably some better trades, at least to start off with. SI, you could say the same on. This isn't looking too great right now. Maybe it could pop after the open. It's one that we've had our eyes on from the last week or so. Very volatile sideless stock, but all right, so let's check out the two that we had on the side list at the end, the OMER. And, it's bouncing back up right now. I like the daily chart more than anything, so hopefully the order book could fill in on this trade. I'll slip this on our main list too. And then the Mark trade, MARK, it's up 13.5%. It's just so flat, though, right? I mean, it's holding well here. It doesn't hurt us to put this on our main list, but I don't like to build up too big of a list. If you've kind of listened to myself, at least when I tag in for Fausto in the morning, I often say that, the difference between a really, really, really experienced trader like Fausto with 30 plus years versus a really experienced trader 8 plus years is that, hey, Fausto keeps it really simple, right? And I see the opportunity in a lot of trades, but that can go against my way at times where I could build up too big of a watch list and where I don't need to. So, you know what? If Mark pops after the open, I'm sure we'll call it out. But I'll tell you what, I like the one so far on our main list to begin. We got 2, we got 4, 6, we got 8 different stocks to work with going into the market open. All right, folks, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn, hey, Faust will be back tomorrow morning. It was a small little mic issue. He's actually back up and running right now. He'll be inside our live trading room for the market open for all of our students and members there. If you wanted to join us inside our live trading room and then just continue the audio commentary, especially hear from the man himself, just go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream right there to get yourself started. If you have any questions before joining us, though, I always like to post my email at the end of these streams anyway, josh@ctutrading.com. I always host the afternoon meetings here each weekday at 2:30. So, whether it be the morning or the afternoon, I always like to post these emails here at the end just in case if you have any questions. So again, Josh@CTU Trading. But for Leda, for Grant, for Michael, for Sam, Ray, and all of us there right now live, we look forward to chatting with you folks coming up just at the opening bell. Got to refill up on some water, folks. So I'll talk to you coming up just very soon, coming up in about 7 or so minutes. Take care.